Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi LiveNoding. In this episode, I wanted to share with you this setup that I did a while back ago. So let me just run the animations. So basically here, you can see there's like a circle or like a pie that's kind of animating. Um, the animation is kind of like a sine wave motion. So it's kind of like a building up and then it's kind of falling and then it's kind of doing it again and again, and there's a slight offset. uh, I'm actually using the monad, so this is kind of pretty complex, but let me reduce it to the simplest one. Maybe I should have just look at the monad. The monad itself is the one that's interesting, the one that's doing the hard job. Let me try if I can go back and find the one before I created the monad. So I think this is the one that's the basic one. So this is how it was set up. I basically started with a circle. I know with a circle I can change mode so that instead of having like a full circle, I can have like a pie. We don't need to have the extrusion, so I can actually get rid of this extrude. So we just have a circle. So this is how it was before all the complexity that's going on. So let's see what's going on here. Let me try if I could remember how I set it up. There's a sine wave here, there's a cosine wave here, there's a multiplication here. That's actually for the time, so I can make it faster or slower. This setup is not perfect. You might notice that what I did there, I'm actually flipping the pie at some point when it hits when it reaches a certain condition. I'm doing it that way because I want to get it kind of like the reverse of the animation. So it's like building up the pie and then it's folding the pie. I can do it in a different way, but for now I just leave it as it is with this surface kind of flipping back and forth. Let me try to explain. So yeah, there's a switch there and there's the 2 number, and this is the condition that's being controlled by the cosine. I think I actually found this by accident. Somehow the sine and the cosine working kind of like in reverse. So if the sine is kind of like doing the folding up, maybe if I just unplug the top part and just have one. So this is how it was actually. If I change this to white, to yellow color, maybe we have like a nice Pac-Man. But yeah, so this is actually the basic idea. You have a circle and you animate the degrees using a sine value between -1 and 1, and I just map it between 0 and 360. So we have these animations. But using the cosine, I am controlling the flipping of the pie. So when it hits this certain condition, it's gonna have either 0 or 180 degree of rotation. So this is the condition. If the cosine is under 0, it's gonna flip. If it's higher than 0, it's gonna flip. So that's why I can have this guy happening. So I thought this was actually kind of interesting, even though it's not 100% perfect. Of course we don't want the flipping to happen. We just want the proper animations. So the final animations that I got is this. it looks much more complicated here because I use the monad. I basically group everything that you see before into a monad, and I'm vectorizing and kind of offset the time. So this is, of course, a lot more complex, but yeah, it is pretty interesting to be able to do this, right? So this is kind of like almost like kind of like an animation of time. 24 hours. There's a flipping happening. You probably don't want the flipping to happen, but anyhow, I'll give you the setup, and you can have a bit of study, and maybe you find a way so that we don't need to flip it. But that's what the circle nodes was designed like. So it cannot do the full reverse of animation. So ideally, I like to be able to control the angle here, the start and the end, so that we can have this animation that's kind of building up and then kind of falling. So I actually have another node setup for this, but I need to show you this one anyhow, because this one is kind of interesting. It's just a remix of this circle node, and all this flipping stuff is also kind of interesting. I found that by accident, by the way. So there you go. That's a quick pie animations using Spreadchalk add-on. Hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye.